Hello YouTubers, let's get this taken care of right up front. This video is going to be how I cut up a rabbit for a fryer, or today I'm putting them in a pot to boil down to can the meat. This is how I do it. Not everyone does it the same way. I hope I don't forget to put something in that I do, but let's make this a point here right up front. I'm cutting up a rabbit. If you don't want to see a rabbit cut up, it's already been killed and skinned. If you don't want to see how I cut them up or how they get cut up, and it's going to upset you and you're going to make rude and nasty comments, don't bother. There's nothing you can say that's going to make me think, oh my, I better not do this anymore. They taste good. They're a meat rabbit, just like we have meat chickens and meat hogs and meat beef. They're meat. We eat them. Get over it. On to the processing. Hope you enjoy it. Okay, now what's going on? I've got a bunch of rabbits to process. I processed, meaning killed, skinned, and put in a cooler full of ice water yesterday. 15 grow outs and 2 seniors. I'm down to 6 grow outs left out in the barn. I've got to finish up and get rid of them by the time I have my surgery, because I don't want my wife to have to take care of them. So if you're anywhere near Northwest Ohio, I'll make you a good deal on some that are about 8 weeks old, I believe. 7 or 8 weeks old, I'd have to check. Just need fed for a couple more weeks and they will be ready to process. I processed these, they're 10 weeks old, but they weren't quite 5 pounds, but I needed to get them done. I'm going to show you how I cut them up. This is how I do it. And I'm going to put them in a pot, boil them down, pull the meat, and can them, because I want to have canned rabbit so we can use it in any dish that you would use canned chicken in. Let me put it up here, get me one up here, and I'll show you how I cut it up, and I'll try to move you in closer so you can see. Be right back. Okay, this is what we consider a grow out. It was right between 4.5, 5 pounds. I don't think it was quite 5 pounds. First thing I do, still pretty stiff and cold, I pull out any extra fat that I see, but I'll get to that in a minute. I start with the hind legs, and there's a hip, bone, and then the joint, and it's separate from the spine. And I come in here and try to get on top of that long hip bone, and cut down the back and in here, and you can feel that hip bone in there. I don't know what it's actually called. I'll show it to you in a minute. Then you break that loose and throw it in the pot. And there's this right here is what I was talking about. And then I cut behind it, and that's all bone, mostly all bone. Cut on top of it on the first cut and around here. Then get up underneath it there. Now, there's not a lot of meat there, and that is what I call the south end of a northbound rabbit. And I'm not going to gnaw around that for any meat, so I get my cleaver out and get rid of that. Now, we'll take the front part off. I try to find the last rib and cut like that, and then cut back to the spine, snap it off. Now, these flaps of skin are so tough you can't hardly chew them. and there's a tough layer on the back. And I found if I cut on each side of the spine, then basically skin this off, get it started, and then I can pull it off. And you pull that tough membrane off the back, it makes it for a lot more enjoyable time of eating. And there is an awful lot of meat on the back of a rabbit or a squirrel. I cut off anything that just doesn't look appetizing, and then in the pot it goes. Front shoulders. The shoulder comes way back around there. Get in behind it. And it's not actually attached to the rest of the skeleton. Now, I don't know what it's called, but I call this the knee. There's a sharp little bone out on the point of that knee. It's right there. And I like to save these to cook up like you're fixing chicken wings. And I don't want that bone on the end of that little knee. So I cut that off. That's a nice looking piece of meat. Like I said, these are all going to be deboned and canned. I think I said that. I think that's part of that tough stuff. And this is the front. First thing I do is cut the rest of that neck off. That looks a little more appetizing. Peel all that tough stuff off. There's the front part of a rabbit. There is two little hunks of meat up here. You can kind of see how thick it is on both sides. I'll get a little meat from that. That's how I cut one up. If I was going to fry it, let me find the pieces. There's one hind leg, front leg in the back, another front leg, and a hind leg. Right there's the main pieces I saved for frying up. And it's really good. Barbecuing it, frying it. Now I'm going to have some canned, boneless rabbit ready to go. I'll do another video on how I am canning it. Thanks for watching.